All right, good morning. No matter where you are, no matter when you are. Good morning. Ooh, first sip. Got lobster butter from Roost Coffee, Roost Roast here in Ann Arbor. The best coffee on this planet. All right, welcome to episode 1. So I will admit, didn't know if I wanted to do this scripted or non-scripted. I decided to go with non-scripted. So with that, moving forward, let's go ahead and run it. Now, I have multiple stories. In class, I normally do 3, international, national, local. I've decided I'm going to do anywhere from 3 to 5 and maybe even 6 on days/weeks I'm feeling extra excited about news. So let's just go ahead and get on into it. So up first, we have grocery prices are rising in America again. So the idea behind this is that in April, even in some of May, in March and April, we saw dips in the grocery pricing here in America finally, and people saw lower prices coming to their local supermarkets. People were super excited because for so long, groceries have been so astronomically, outrageously priced that this was a great grace of news. Unfortunately, now here this month, we see that groceries have gone back up, and in overall, they've gone back up to about 5.8% increase of what they've been as a whole. So we could look at together food prices jumped about 6.7% throughout the year. Once again, that came as an annual inflation rate of about 4%. So what does that mean about 4% overall? If we break it down individually, which we did for Europe in class, well, let's look at America. So about 20, no, let's go to the bottom up like we did last time. So ice cream, bottom of the list, 8%. Not that high, but still high. 8% increase due to inflation. Next, we see ham grew 8.2%, so a little bit higher. Lettuce is next at 9.5%, pretty much. Non-alcoholic drinks, so juices, waters, pops, 10% increase of inflation. Sugar rose 11%. Bread spiked 12.5%. Excuse me. We see flour jumped to 17%. And then margarine, butter, the highest at 22.5%. So that's crazy, but as we can see, inflation is still affecting everyone across the world. It's not just Europe. It's not just America. Inflation is going bananas right now. Luckily, bananas were not on that list. Let's not talk about eggs. Oh. All right. So our second story up is this idea of doctors who are using AI. That's a scary thought at first. Wait a minute. My doctor doesn't know how to do my surgery. Is he going to ask ChatGPT, how do you perform open heart surgery on a person? No, that's not what this is. So we need to understand that with this story, it's not about them using it to make diagnostics. It's not about them, oh, how do I do X, Y, and Z, or how do I do blank. Doctors, as you grow older, you'll find out certain professions have better sociability than others. I'm a teacher. I hope I'm sociable. I hope I'm easy to talk to. I hope I'm easy to communicate with. And I find it personally easy to speak or to talk. Even on things unscripted like this video, I can talk. I can make it happen. I can connect to people. I can connect issues, etc., etc. There are professions in this life that people do not have those same set of skills. Doctors tend to be much more medical focused, much more book focused. They might not have as much empathy and sympathy as other people. They might just be strictly, oh, this is the diagnosis, I gotta tell them. So doctors are finding it easier to use ChatGPT to try to talk to patients. In other words, say they just found out a patient is suffering from a new form of cancer after they receive treatment for it. That's a very difficult conversation, one that I would have difficulty having. It's a hard, heart-tugging thing. It's really saddening. It could destroy people's lives. It could end people's lives. It's hard to talk about. It's not an easy subject. So doctors are using chatbots to help improve their speaking capabilities. They want messages to be delivered in a nicer, calmer way that people don't feel as scared or don't feel like they were just spoken to by a scientist who just finished his research after 12 years of trying to figure out the gangliobopas virus. You know what I mean? Like, you make it up, doesn't matter. But this is helpful. There is obviously fear that people are scared. People are going to use this to, look up, oh, what is my patient's diagnostic? Here's their syndromes. So what do you think, computer? But I don't think that's what it is at all. I think that it is much more about how do I speak to my patients in a way that's more calming, more human, which, yes, the irony, that metallic taste in your mouth is a little irony, you could say. But no, it is a way to try to become more humanized, using the least humanized avenue you can to try to do so. So that's quite interesting. Now, on the same vein, but different grape, Europe. Yeah, just Europe, different. They're wild over there. We're red grapes, they're great purple grapes, just different grapes. Now, so opposite side of the spectrum, two sides to every coin. So, Europe, they're taking steps to try to regulate AI. Now, what does this mean? Well, to put it very simple, this is the first major law to regulate artificial intelligence. The idea is a potential model for policymakers around the world as they grapple with how to put guardrails on a rapidly developing technology. Now, quick tangent. In life, the government is the last person to catch up on new things. Technology booms, they've been happening since the Industrial Revolution. They've been happening since, before that. But really, since the Industrial Revolution, technology has boomed so many times and it's grown so exponentially that the government can't keep up. It couldn't keep up with piracy, stealing people's music, movies, and TV shows and video games online. It couldn't keep up with the dark web. It couldn't keep up with VPNs. Look at cryptocurrency and FTX and how it crashed because they can't keep up with it. Now, I don't say this in an offensive way. I say this factually. Our government is built of really old men. Really old. Some of them are in their 80s plus. During the TikTok trial, we had people in Congress asking the TikTok CEO if their phone connects to Wi-Fi. And if so, does the app also connect to Wi-Fi? And if they both do, can the phone talk to the application over the Wi-Fi? Yeah, those are questions a 5-year-old and an 80-year-old ask. And I don't mean to be ageist. I mean, it's true because it's not part of their generation. It's too new for the older generation, and hasn't been discovered yet by the youngins. So we need people who can regulate and understand these things better in office. Now, I get what they're doing. They want people's work to be protected. They want people's private information to be protected. They want the government to have the most control over who knows what about who. So if the government steps in and makes regulations over AI, they can look at what people are typing in. They can look at the results. They can look at why people are using it. There's a lot of what they can start to do if it becomes regulated. Now, that's on one side. Other side of the coin, probably not a bad thing to regulate. It really isn't. I think it's important to see how much time people spend with it, what they're talking about. Are they giving away too much personal information? Are they giving away their best $1 million idea so this company can steal it, flip it, and sell it? It's an important thing, no doubt. So, what are your thoughts on AI? Because that's something that was highlighted in our class a lot this year, and I love talking about it. It's a very unique subject because it's booming in front of our eyes. All right, 3 more stories. So, this one's quick. So, City of Detroit, our local story. I can probably wrap this up by having you just look and read this, right here, because this does really well at breaking it down. But Detroit requires businesses to accept cash payment or face fines. The idea is that not everyone has a credit card. Not everyone has a debit card. There are people who still carry cash. And say it's the only form of payment you have on you, it makes it very difficult to get the things you need in life to survive if you have no other avenue. So the city of Detroit, by a 9-0 vote, requires that businesses take cash or offer devices such as kiosks that can transfer cash into cards at no fee, requiring no more than a $5 minimum deposit. I love this. I'll come out and say that. Everyone can have their own opinion. That's fine. Cashless society is scary. Cash has been the modern currency for a very long time, and it works. Debit and credit are coming out lately as of, World War I. Then we see cryptocurrency booming right now, but cash is king. There's a reason that saying exists. Cash will always be around, probably. I mean, I hope we can reduce it because environmental impact, but until we figure out a equitable way that everyone can have a debit or credit card without, risking issues financially for them, cash needs to be around. So I think this is a really good idea by Detroit. I really do. So the really quick story, really simple. Just wanted to shout this out. Shouts out Detroit Free Press for the local news all the time. Love it. All right. Happy Pride Month, everyone. I wanted Khalil to cover this story, but they are at work and I now have summers off. So Starbucks, there's a lot going on. The employees of Starbucks are claiming that multiple Starbucks around the United States were told by their management they are not allowed to decorate for Pride to support the LGBTQ plus. Now, that creates a lot of hysteria. You have employees who are like, yeah, they wouldn't let us decorate, and you have customers on both sides of the coin freaking out. You have ones over here going, oh my gosh, this is a violation of our rights. There's no way you shouldn't be able to allowed to celebrate something like this, especially of a minority oppressed group of people. They should be celebrated and honored, etc., etc. Fair point. Other side of the coin, the people who are like, yeah, that doesn't need to be pushed down our throats. I'm trying to buy coffee, not an agenda. Why should I have to sit there and stare at the rainbow flag to get my latte? You know, there's two sides of every coin. But the more hysteria comes from when Starbucks, the corporation, has to come out and say they never implemented these blockades. They never authorized people to denounce Pride. They never told managers that they were allowed to not decorate. So right now we're seeing Starbucks worker union try to combat Starbucks and figure out, you know, the bottom of this. Did they actually send out an order that said do not let employees decorate for Pride? Because let's be honest, Target did that recently, and a bunch of people decided to go attack Target or call in death threats to Target workers because they had Pride setups. We also had people going into Target stores and physically destroying Pride displays because it goes against their own personal beliefs. We had people threaten workers, threaten the company a lot. So it makes sense that why Starbucks is scared. They saw this year, only a few months ago, another major corporation receive lots and lots of backlash, including threats of violence and physical harm towards their employees over this idea. We don't know at this moment, did Starbucks actually send out a secret operatives order saying, do not do that, do not set up Pride, we don't want people destroying our stores or causing discomfort for our customers? Or was it that maybe some select managers around the United States saw what happened at Target, decided, hey, in our store we support LGBTQ+, but we're not going to decorate for it because there's people out to get Pride this year, as there has been every year since it's ever existed at the start of humanity. But regardless, so that's something that Starbucks has to deal with right now. And it'll be interesting to see where they go, because Starbucks is often seen as a very liberal, left-leaning company who supports, minority groups. So it'll be quite interesting to see how they react to this now that it's really blowing up in the face of America. So, last story for today. Now, I'm not going to cover the Trump hearing until it's done. Today, I want to cover the interview that he had after the most recent hearing. So for those who are wondering, what is this hearing about? Well, the most recent hearing, and I'll read it as I have it written here. Prosecutors revealed specific statuses that were investigating when they searched Mar-a-Lago, Trump's Florida home, last year. A search that uncovered dozens of classified documents even after Trump's team swore they had turned everything over. In other words, Trump and his party kept government documents that are not legally his. They are not Trump's. Just because they have his name in it does not mean they are his. They are the U.S. government's. They are the U.S. citizens' documents. They belong to the United States. He kept them and said he didn't have them. That's why he's in court. So, after the trial, we get a very interesting interview with Mr. ex-former President Trump, where he says a lot of crazy stuff. Shocker. But no, real quick, I want to read you some of my favorite quotes that I wrote down from this interview. So during the speech, here are some of his quotes. Quote, "This is the most absurd, evil abuse of power in our history," end quote. Yeah? Not Vietnam, not Iraq, not banning Muslims from coming into our country, them being mad at you for doing something illegal like keeping classified documents and saying you didn't have them. That's the most evil thing, whatever. Next, quote, "These are trumped up charges that many other presidents would have been found guilty on." That's all I'm going to say. Next, quote, "Biden had his top opponent arrested while he is losing," end quote. "The campaign hasn't started. Trump, you haven't received the bid. There's other Republicans running. No one's running yet. Yeah, we're campaigning because you're always campaigning in the political sphere, but you can't arrest your biggest opponent if you don't have an opponent yet. You also can't be losing if the race hasn't started yet. And yes, there's some gray area to that sentence where you could argue, prelims and all that, but no. And then the last one I wanted to point out was he left the argument by saying Joe Biden and talking about Joe Biden and his administration, called them, and I quote, thugs, misfits, and communist. He said Marxist, but he meant communist. So thugs, misfits, and communist. We will win bigger and better than before, end quote. So it'll be interesting to see how does this case go. I'll cover it when it's finished. I just wanted to point out some of those quotes because it's never not a laugh when this man gets on public TV and if he doesn't directly say something sexist, racist, or some other ist, because it has happened already. So it'll be very interesting to see how this court case wrap up. I'll cover it. Thank you for sticking through if you stuck through all this. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, ring that bell, whatever helps engagement, because I would like to see this channel grow, because I would like to bring news in a fun way that's also easily digestible for all age groups. So until next time, thank you all. It's been an absolute pleasure, and cheers, friends.